Hi, this is Dr. Vaughn with Spirit of Health. So what is the Body Ecology program and why is it so special? Well, the reason Body Ecology and Donna Gates in this book just makes perfect sense and it resonates with me is that it kind of brings together everything I've been studying over the years as a naturopath, as an herbalist, as a person who works every day to help heal people and help people overcome their illnesses and their imbalances. And you know, I've said to people for years that you can take all kinds of great, wonderful supplements, but if you don't change your life, if you don't make a complete lifestyle change, you'll never achieve the health you want to. You might never fully overcome your illness because it takes a complete lifestyle change to be healthy. I always like to refer back to other cultures around the world and the way they do things, the way they live their lives. And if you think about it, they're still in tune with the earth. A lot of these cultures, like the Hunzas in the Himalayas, for example. You know, they live in a beautiful mountainous region with fresh water. You know, they're not stressed out about their daily jobs. They live life, they enjoy it, they eat fresh, whole foods from the earth that they grow themselves. And they're not caught up in all this Americanized way of life, way of living. There's nothing wrong with America. Are you kidding me? I love America. I love everything that America is and what it stands for. But unfortunately, I feel like we're very disconnected from the earth. And we don't often see the earth as a reward system, as a life-sustaining system that brings us life and joy and many wonders. It seems like we treat the earth as something we need to conquer or overcome or use to get the resources we need for our benefit. And there's no more harmony in the way we are living within the earth. So that's what's great about this Body Ecology program. Now I believe, and many natural health advocates would agree with me, that the main reason we're having so much illness in America, I believe, are two reasons. One is this complete disconnect from nature, more so than we've ever been disconnected from nature in the history of humanity. And two, sugar. Now there's all kinds of other issues going on, the processing of foods, the chemicals, everything else. But I think the sugar, and the processed foods can be, kind of goes hand in hand with that, is the main things that's destroying the health of Americans. And what that's doing is that's causing these infections in people, these candida fungal infections, people with these chronic sinus issues, sinusitis, reoccurring issues, reoccurring yeast infections in women, reoccurring fungus infections on the toenails and on the nails, and poor digestion and constipation and diarrhea, and we could go on and on about all the symptoms. But these imbalances are caused from the foods we eat. And that's what I like about this program, is that it basically teaches us how we're supposed to be eating. How have humans been eating for 6,000, 7,000 years around the world in tune with the world they live in, based on the environment and the tools that they have available to them where they're living. Food didn't used to come from grocery stores. They used to have to grow it themselves. And things were very different for thousands of years. It's only in the last 100 years that we've become so modernized, this industrial revolution, the shelf life business where we've taken all the nutrients out of food so it can sit on the shelf for 6 months. Remember, these giant food companies are in the shelf life business, they're in the profit business, they're not in the health business, contrary to what they want you to think with all their fancy marketing and advertising. It's not about health, it's about money, so that their products can stay on the shelf as long as they can so they don't lose any profit. That is what's destroying our health. And our choice to eat these foods, these processed foods, these fast foods, these chemical-laden foods, all this sugar, donuts, cookies, crackers, sweets, it's tearing down our systems, and our body can only handle so much. So I think it's really helpful to have a program like Body Ecology that can overcome this. And the way that this program helps do that is, like I said, getting back to the roots of the way we're supposed to be eating. Think about how life used to be. Okay, let's just picture you back on a farm somewhere. Let's say you were a homesteader moving out west and you were setting up your homestead back in the 1800s. Let's say you were in medieval Europe back in the 1600s. That's a fun time for me to think about, kind of the Renaissance age in the 1500s. Think about the way people lived back then. Obviously, you personally grew all your own food. Or you grew certain crops and other people grew other crops and you traded. You had animals but you might have goats or sheep or some cattle, but you were careful about how much of those animals you ate because they were part of your livelihood. You might get milk from them. You use those animals for other resources. So when you actually did want to get food from them, you had to ration that. You might have to ration that between a family or multiple families over the course of weeks. You know, we're so used to having everything we want 24/7 right at our fingertips. We can eat meat 3 meals a day. We can eat anything we want 24/7. And it didn't used to be that way. We would have to eat what we grew ourselves. We would have to ration our meat intake. We would have to grow foods seasonally, depending on if it was spring, summer, fall, winter. In the spring and summer, we had fresh fruits and a variety of different foods, cooling foods to us. And then as winter approached, fall and winter approached, we'd have a lot of our root vegetables. And heading into winter, we would store a lot of these vegetables and use them to help get us through the winter. They used to ferment foods in a lot of cultures and help them and use those foods to get them through the winter, making a lot of soups and stocks and broths and things like that. So that's how life was. I mean, for forever. Only until the last 100 years that this changed. It's very important that you understand that our poor health in America, ranking us in the low 30s in healthcare around the world among industrialized nations, it's abysmal. And it starts with the choices we make every day. You have the choice to be healthy or not. You have the choice to make these changes. Now, I know it's hard. It's hard because we live in this fast-paced, fast food world. We're on the run all the time. We just grab and go. We eat what tastes good because we're addicted to certain foods. And it's difficult to overcome that. So that's why I think following a program is very beneficial. And again, that's why I'm excited about this